Test. Test. Come on, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Pause. Okay, bear with me here. This is the first of a series that I'm making for shipbuilding base training. I want to start with Fury on this and everything. Bear with me, I haven't done videos like this before, so it's a little bit of a learning experience on how to do this properly. Right here we got a Fury. I'm starting with Fury right now because I saw one posted on our clan page and the guy really needed help. Okay, first of all, we need to look at the print on Fury. Let me bring that up. Alright, this is Fury print stats. Notice it's got scattergun reload and corrosive damage. This hull is best with corrosive weapons and scatterguns. If you don't use scattergun or corrosive weapons, you lose all this bonus, and that's huge bonuses there. Evade is not much of an issue with this hull. You can't really get much evade on it with the minus 50 evade, so I wouldn't mess with evade on it. It's got good penetrative deflection at 15,000 deflection. Decent explosive deflection at 10,000 explosive deflection. Some minor corrosive deflection at plus 500. Some radioactive deflection at plus 9,000. Now these are standard defenses that stays no matter what. And when I say no matter what, the ability, like on Pride, if the ability is affected, you do not lose these stats. Now notice the most important thing here, defense handicap 100%. That means you cannot add any percentage defense, like penetrative defense, explosive defense, corrosive defense, radioactive defense. None of that can be added to this hull. You have to notice that before building the hull. This hull also has a berserker capability, or ability, which what that means is as it takes damage, it triggers an overload. And you got to trigger an overload, you have to take equal to 27,500 armor points. So if you're going to use this as a tank for, say, vendettas, you're going to want to load this sucker up with armor, so that way it triggers an overload on vendettas. Let's see here. And this is the stats on the overload. It does create, well, it also has a stun effect, which is like a pinch missile. It does trigger resonance, like res cap and res battery, when this ability is triggered. Let's see here. All these are added in on the ability, which is quite a bit. Now the bloodthirst. This is important to notice. This is a revenge bloodthirst. So most tier 5 hulls have the revenge bloodthirst. So all of those with the revenge bloodthirst, you can mix and match the hulls in a fleet, and the bloodthirst will stack on all the hulls that have revenge bloodthirst, even if you use just one ship in the fleet to kill buildings. Now you have to kill 20 buildings or ships to get maximum bloodthirst, but you start receiving bloodthirst with the first kill. These are stats that you get with maximum bloodthirst. That's 20 buildings. Now, if you want to know how much you get per stack per kill, you would take this 600 ballistic deflection and divide it by 20. And that would give you how much deflection you would get with just one kill on bloodthirst. Alright, now that being covered, let's go back to Huggies. I prefer to build in Huggies versus the shipyard in the game, because Huggies gives a lot more information. Now, remember that a Fury is a corrosive scattergun hull. So the best weapons to use on this would be a corrosive scattergun. Now, if I remember right, conflagration scattergun excuse me, is what came out with the Fury. As of right now, it's one of the best weapons to use on the Fury. Now I'm clicking this so I can add multiple placement. We're going to load this sucker up with this weapon. Now, we want to get some speed on here. So let's see here. Come on, load up. Speed System 5. I prefer Speed System 5 over the hydraulic resistors for two reasons. One, on a Conqueror hull and a Defender hull, the hydraulic resistors is not going to add any concussive defense, because remember, it's got a 100% defense handicap. Two is the Speed System 5 has the exact same combat speed as hydraulic resistors, but hydraulic resistors don't have turn speed. And turn speed gets quite critical, especially on a base hull or when you're in fleet versus fleet. Alright, let's see here. And we got a combat speed of 3910 and a map speed of 43.8 and a turn speed of 33. Now, I'm going to go ahead and bump this up here to where my R&D level is. And notice I've already got Dock 13 and Yard 4. And I'm going to bump this up to Legendary rank, because in all honesty, you're going to run the hull sculled. There is a defect in the game. You get 300% reload instead of 75% reload at skull rank. So sculling out or breaking hulls is very, very, very important. Notice my reload just went up to 700%, and I don't have any reload specials. That's just the hull of the plus 100 and then the rank. I'm going to drop this back and look again. See? Plus 100. I got a 600% increase in reload just by changing to 75%. And keep in mind, rank reload stacks on top of any existing reload you got on the hull. So you can get huge, huge buffs there. I've actually been able to get 1500% reload on some builds. Alright, now we're using this as a base hitting hull. So, Siege Battery 3 is a must. Siege Battery 3 has, mine's at R15, it increases building damage. Actually, I don't have it at R15 here. Let me just change that. Oh, no, wrong one. Retro menu. We'll go over here and change this. Set this up. I'm going to go ahead. This is how you change your retro settings in Huggies. Once you do it once, it should stay all the time. Compound engine systems. I'm going to leave that for now. That should do most of it. Okay. Now, my building damage just got increased by 74.1. My turret defense is 49.5. Well, being in the game, it always rounds up if you're at 0.5, so that's actually a 50% turret defense. Now, turret defense is not bypassed by the defense bypass capabilities of turrets in a base, which is a good thing, because that helps you a lot when hitting a base. The percentages here, and I'm going to note, see these numbers in parentheses? This is actually how much armor you got for missile, explosive, ballistic, concussive, radioactive, and corrosive versus each weapon type, which is more important than the percentages. Kixeye did change the way that works on us. It's no longer a resist. Okay, now, the way the turret defense works is that damage comes off before the deflection. So, it can actually reduce quite a bit of damage. Now, notice our DPS is up to 75.13 or 75,133, and the parentheses up here on DPS is building damage. This is fleet damage to 14,389. Now the fleet damage is a little bit low. I don't like it. We're also still above a 1 second reload. I really don't like that too much. Let's see what we can do about this. No. There it is. Hydroxide injector. Now, multi-shot is very important. Multi-shot actually works different than salvo. Salvo actually has a longer fire rate, and the reload don't start until after the full salvo is fired. Now, multi-shot is think of multi-shot as like a shotgun. You fire it; it fires all the pellets in that one shot, all at once. So reload started automatically. Salvo, think of it as like a machine gun. You got a 20 round clip. You fire it. Once the 20 rounds is out, now the reload starts. So you can see where multi-shot actually has an advantage in this game. Alright, I just increased corrosive damage by 25. And I added a multi-shot of 1. Now, a multi-shot of 1 actually takes this building damage of 5,550. I'm sorry, the building damage is 4,440. That was the wall damage of 5,550. And it takes that and adds that much again. Notice how much my damage actually just bumped up by just adding hydroxide injector on both ship and building damage. Now let's see if we can't find a little more corrosive damage, because I wouldn't mind bumping that some more. If I can't, I may end up... Oh, well, here we go. This would actually work. See how much that helps. Okay. Now, another thing that's also important on every baser is at least Agility System 3. Agility System 4 is better. Now, the reason being is because of the stun and slow resist, and everybody is adding anything and everything they can to slow and stun basers. So you really, really need this. Now, the unfortunate thing about Agility 4 is it is limited. So if you don't have it, you can drop back to Agility 3. Now, notice it just bumped my stats way up here. Now, for comparison on builds, notice I just put Ampacity upgrade here. I'm going to copy this over here. That way I can make a comparison. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to change it out. Can I get Siege Reloader in there? Boom. Now, I just bumped reload another 40% on the scatter gun, bumped my DPS on both ship and fleet. Now we're going to switch over here to this other one that I just built to compare. Notice this one's got 21,756 ship damage per second, and this is 162,552 building damage. We got quite a big jump just by adding that. Alright, well, that looks pretty good so far. I'm going to copy this down here. That way we can make other changes and see if we can't find something better. For giggles, let's just throw countermeasure loaders on. And it doesn't really boost damage or anything, except for it does boost your reload 20%. And it doesn't really look as good as this one. So, that build's not too good. We'll take that off. Now, let's see what Siege Targeting 3 does. Now, this just mainly solely boosts your building damage. And it boosts it 92.6%. Let's see here. Notice it's 165,768 on building damage versus the Siege Reloader of 162,552. Yeah, small increase, not major. But here's where you need to notice. The DPS is slightly less on fleet. That can be major, especially when you're talking about guard ships in a fleet. So, I don't really like that one either. Let's see if we can't find something else. Concussive. That's mainly for radioactive weapons. Ballistic upgrade. Let's see what's over on Draconian. You know, that's an idea. Let's see here. Penetrative, combat speed, launcher supercharge. Where are you at? It's got me locked out on Barrel System 3. I'm going to see something here. The reason why it's got me locked out on Barrel System 3 is because of this hydroxide injector that actually adds a multi-shot. So I'm going to check and see if the Barrel System 3 actually does better than the Hogstar hydroxide injector. So we're going to go to this build basically with that only thing I'm changing is the hydroxide injector. And actually it hurts it a lot. So no, we don't want hydroxide or the Barrel System 3. We want the hydroxide injector, as that's a major boost. So we'll go back over here and see if we can't find the best weapon to put in here, or the best special. I'm not really seeing many choices. Let's close this out. Does this have any splash? Yeah, it's got splash. Splash of 10. Now if we add 50% splash to that, that would give me a splash of 15, which would make a huge difference. So, let's see here. That. Now this actually does radioactive damage, but that's a generic splash of 50. So now we just bump splash up 50%. That should give me a splash of 15. Wow. It hurt the building DPS, but because I had removed the siege reloader, but boosted the fleet DPS up. Almost 10,000. That's going to be critical. I like that. I like that a lot. That actually looks like a good build. That way it's balanced somewhat between fleet and buildings. And 102k, 102,000 building damage, while not the best, is decent. You got 5 of these in the fleet, that would be 510,000 building DPS, which is more than enough to kill level 8 turrets in a matter of seconds, assuming all 5 are alive. So now we're going to go armor. I'm going to go ahead and replace these other builds because I like this build the most, and I'm going to go with it. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and just throw up a fleet of 5. Now, we need to decide on the armor we're going to use. Now, as discussed before, this has got a handicap of defense 100%. So you've only got really 3 choices of armor. Either radioactive 4, war plating 3, or D5E. Now, like I discussed, well, we managed to get up here to 35.7, but that's still really low. Let's see what we can get with 3 plates of D5E. See if it's even a viable option. 53% evade. Now, wait a sec. Let me go to retro menu. Armor. Evade. Let's run that up to R15. Close this out. 56.8. So that makes a 57 evade. While not the best of evade, it's okay. That might actually help you on some turrets in the base, as long as they don't have an accuracy upgrade to upgrade their accuracy. So that is a viable option on your armor. Now I'm going to click over here to this other one. Same exact build, just different armor. I'm going to turn this off. And we're going to go over here. Now, most turrets in a base does splash. So, this can help a lot too. And that takes 10% splash reduction per plate. Now, that can help quite a bit. Now, radioactive deflection is 9,000. While that'll help, it ain't going to stop everything. Especially something that's got high damage like my Vanquishers that I built. Let's see here. Now, I'm not. One important thing to note that I haven't stated here. I'm not using resonance capacitor on this. I'm using Siege Battery 3 instead, because resonance capacitor does not charge on a Fury hull until it reaches its overload. So that's not good. You won't get any of these bonuses. So stick with Siege Battery 3. Alrighty. So let's see. Now, if you want to boost the radioactive deflection up a little bit, which against Vanquishers you might want to. Let me turn that off. Let's see here. We're going to add a couple of radioactive plates for. That gets you up to 19,000 deflection. And that's not too bad. Now, over here, a plate of War Plate 3 would actually help. Now, one thing about Huggies is it doesn't add the splash reduction stats yet. But is you do have that splash reduction, and good 80 to 85% of the turrets and bases do splash. So warplating is a major component on a good build. Now, one other thing you can do, and I do this occasionally, is I will throw, say, a plate of D5CO or no, not the D5CT, not the D5R. Let's see here, where is it? D5C, D5X, or D5M. Now, as I stated, the resist that this plate adds, see, this one adds a corrosive defense of 18. Well, notice it's not over here in my stats, so I didn't get that. But I did add 20 assault deflection and 20 siege deflection, which the assault and siege deflection got added here, and that comes off on each projectile before any other thing you got in your defense. Before this missile deflection, before explosive, corrosive deflection, and before your turret defense. That's one thing that can help. So you could choose to go that route. I wouldn't use more than one plate though. Now this covers the basic builds of a Fury and how I would suggest building most conch hulls, giving you ideas and everything. I hope this helps and everything, and I will